Sir.
Hi, Joe Forno, another Asbury Court, 100 Asbury Court.
Sign
Did you
in.
sign in?
I did.
Thank you, sir.
As we're using the road down there, when you come up from Alpine Village Drive, right where that meets with Cavit Road, the sign, the road closed sign is right there on the, that would be the right side of the road. It blocks the right lane. Nobody stops. I mean, you have two ways, two cars, and one lane. And tonight when we were coming down, like when I come down, I know you better look because you never know. Well, guys zip right around there. I think maybe you need a stop sign down there.
Well, we'll assess what we can do there. I'm sure we can improve.
Either you need to move the sign over somehow.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it and see
or
how we can make it better.
just put a stop sign right before the intersection. That car will stop. You know, he'll go when.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
when
the sight line's down there, if we could put a stop sign, but we'll definitely look at it tomorrow.
Okay, that's one
Daylight.
thing. And as you're going up that road, some of the guardrails, I don't know what happened to them. Somebody told me a tree fell on one of them, but it has a dip in it, and it's about, what's that, 1.5 feet off the ground. Be pretty easy for a car to get pushed over there. People were talking about big things going up there. There's parts of the road where the trees are right on the edge of the road. It's not, you don't have any place to go. They're right there. And that, where the guardrails are, it just goes down. And anybody would go over there, you would have a long way to go. Really, a stop sign, something I want to talk about. Kathy was talking about emergency vehicles coming up from 22. I mean, I don't know what you could do about that. If you think they could go up that way, maybe they can't, maybe they can. If they could, I mean, could those barriers be moved over a little bit? You're probably worried about people going up and down there. If they do, give them a ticket. I mean, I heard that people have gone that way, and I also heard there's cameras down there. You know, if you would move them and you would open it to emergency vehicles only, people choose to go up and down, ticket them. If it's worth, you know, $200 a trip, ticket them. Just something that Kathy brought up back there.
Yeah, once again, I mean, number 4, fire and EMS, they're well aware of the situation. And Mr. Little can follow up with the police chief tomorrow and just make sure that we have a plan in the event there is an issue up there.
Okay, just things that came up. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Ellen Zerba. I live at 120 Asbury Court. And my husband and I moved into the area last August. When we moved into the area late last summer, the road was already a problem on Cavit Road. So this is not anything new, I'm sure, that this town knows about. We noticed the dip in the road when we first came to the area. It just progressively got worse, and from my understanding, talking to other residents, this is not the first time that this has happened. So I would like to know, really, what seriously is the town going to do about this? Because it's nice to say that we have, you know, these barriers up, or we need to put other signs up for detours. That's like a Band-Aid approach. What is the town going to do to fix the problem? We moved into the area to be convenient to Route 22 so that we could have the easy access. That's been taken away. I'm concerned about my property value since moving into the area. The long-term effect if I try to resell my house, if we do relocate again. Who is going to want to come and look at a house when part of the road, the main access leading up there, is now closed? So who's going to cover that for the property loss that I have? If the road isn't fixed in a reasonable time frame, from what I understand, it took 30 months, which is totally unacceptable to fix a road. Totally unacceptable. So I would like to know if there is not some sort of game plan for this, instead of Band-Aid approaches with putting up detour signs and telling people to take a back way around. what are they going to do about property tax relief? You've got a lot of houses up there. You've got a lot of people up there who are being affected by this. It's going to start hitting us in the wallet if it comes down to having to resell our homes. And I want to know what is seriously going to be done about this, instead of saying we're waiting on soil samples, or we're going to move this barricade, or we're going to give someone a ticket if they drive up the road because it's closed. I want answers as far as what is going to happen, the priority on this. That Cavit Road is dangerous driving. I drive my son to and from school every day. I had a school bus come at me head on last week. There is nowhere to move on that road. When you have a big vehicle coming at you, you're going to end up losing it when you're driving a car. The school bus came right at me head on. I had nowhere to move. These people are not exaggerating when they're saying there are literally trees right there on the side of the road. If you try to move over, you're going to hit a tree. It is not safe. It is an inconvenience. We've had packages returned. We've had delivery places saying they're not going to come out and deliver to our house. They can't find it. The road is closed. We received a letter in the mail from Amazon basically saying your packages were returned. UPS called us and told us they weren't going to come out to our house because the road was closed. You have these signs down there at the bottom at Route 22. It just says, road closed. It doesn't say, take a detour through Alpine Village Drive. Nothing about that. You get to that other point in the road that everyone else is talking about where the sign is sitting right there in the lane. Nothing that says access to Asbury Court. There's nothing that says local traffic only. It just says road closed ahead. I mean, it's nice to have these Band-Aid fixes saying that you're going to fix this sign or move a sign over so people can get in. You've had this problem with the road before, with my understanding. Taking your soil samples is nice. You think you probably would have done that last time that you had a problem with the road. So this needs to be taken seriously. And I ask every single one of you, take a drive through there. See what it's like to drive that windy road. See what it's like, what some other people said. You get down by the speedway in the morning or at the end of the day and you're trying to turn to get into traffic. It's nearly impossible.
We certainly understand your concerns. I certainly have driven that road both ways. I've driven Cavit. I'm sure probably most of us up here have and are familiar with the roadway. As far as signage, we're going to look at as far as changing the signage tomorrow to make the language better on it. But we can't speed up the process any more than that. It snowed on Sunday. Even if we had a plan right now, we couldn't do construction on our road right now anyway.
You knew last fall. You knew last summer. Come on. I moved in here in August, and I knew that there was that dip in the road. So don't tell me that you didn't know.
There are dips in many roads.
Right.
How many miles of road do we have?
You knew that dip in the road was there. If you had the same problem 2 or 3 or 2 other times where people have said, you knew it was a problem. You knew. I knew last year when I moved in, but all you guys did was seal coat the road in the fall, which I was like, this is just ridiculous. Then you stick up a sign there in the winter just marking the fact that it's a dip. That doesn't do anything. You need real answers, and saying you're going to check the signage or you're going to move a sign is not the answer that we need.
It's the short-term answer for now. Till the soil samples are back, we can't set a plan. We can't fix the road until the soil samples come back.
Soil samples you think would have been done prior to this because you knew the road was a problem.
That's not the only road that's a problem in the municipality. We are
I
approaching
understand
them.
that.
It's
Man, I've been
obviously
here all my life. I didn't
prioritized.
know that was a problem.
Yeah.
All my life. I've driven fire trucks up and down that road. I've driven police vehicles up and down that road. I didn't know it was a problem. Nobody has ever informed me.
So you didn't know even previously that there was at least 1 or 2 times I'm hearing now tonight
I've been
that
up
that
there
road
on
was
fire
a
calls
problem.
with fire trucks, and I've gone up there and gone to Asbury Court. I'm telling you that I didn't know there was a problem there. Please don't accuse me of that. I didn't know.
Well, I'm going to say, I'm not going to accuse just you. I'm going to say all of you.
Well, I didn't
All
know.
of you.
You can't accuse me.
Well,
And I'm the same way, ma'am, is Ron. You know, take the fire apparatus up there as well as the EMS vehicle as well. And part of the closure previously, and correct me if I'm wrong, was not just what you've seen since you've been here, but the total movement of that hill, graded back, as well as what was done. So when you say, oh, geez, you previously said, if I'm not mistaken, 30 months was unacceptable. There was a heck of a lot of work that happened before that.
I
time.
understand that.
Okay.
I
At
understand that
point.
the neighbors have told me that.
So in conclusion, okay, take 30 months off the table right now as being unacceptable. Sorry, but that was a revision that for those of us who have been here all our
Right,
lives.
right,
Welcome
I
to.
understand that.
Okay, to do that. No, we were never informed that there was a problem with it. Yes, the road subsided. Yes, there's plans to get it in line to be fixed and in place. Is this level of problem? No, ma'am. We didn't.
And now
Is-
that we have at this point, we have to have an engineering.
Right, I
design.
get
And
that.
nobody wants it fixed more than us, believe me. When
Is
you
it
say
going
that,
to be fixed this year? Is it going to be fixed during this construction season?
you have to see what the plan is and what's the status of what's underneath there. I mean, it's very reasonable. It's a high priority. It certainly is.
Yes, it's
certainly
moved
high
up.
we
it's
drive
moved-
we drive that all the time.
Well, and I live off of.
Well, if you drive it all the time, you would have seen the problem.
Well,
with
listen,
it.
I
the
live off
depot-
Old
absolutely.
Ramsey.
That's right.
That road has had part of the road closed for a year and a half now. Mm-hmm. Okay, you have to go around just like you talked about, and if you're not watching somebody speeding down there, and it has to wait. There's other things that come in, happen, and take priorities. It will eventually get done. We aren't made of money. We do the best with the money we have. So maybe that road is now moved up a
Certainly
notch
has.
due
Absolutely.
to the collapsing. So once again, where I maybe thought Ramsey was going to get done, and I'm just going to say that I'm just saying that, I don't know for sure, we now maybe are going to be doing Cavit instead.
Sure.
It's all based on what the information we get back to determine. So please don't say that we're not
Concerned.
doing
Can the
or
residents
concerned.
can the residents get a commitment that this road is going to be fixed and reopen this construction season?
I don't think you can until he
Have a
said
plan.
until we have a plan in place. We can't do
How
that until
long?
we get the
How long
information
does?
back.
How long does?
First
the
of all,
plan-
ma'am, you can't rush this.
How
This
long-
has to be
How long
thought
does-
out properly, and the engineers have to come in and explain how we do it, and then we have to come up with the funding in order to do it, which is probably going to cost us at least $500,000.
So how long are you saying that is going to take?
I'm sorry?
How long are you saying that part is going to take?
I think
Well, that's the problem. We're still working on the engineering part of it, the soil samplers. There's no
that's
final.
not our department. That's not our people.
There's no final way to do it until we get all the information together, and once that's compiled and brought together, then we can maybe give you a timeline. Now, something you probably aren't aware of, but in 2018, we had 57 inches of rain over our normal rainfall.
Right, I understand that.
We average 3 inches a month. So that's approximately an extra 20 months of rain. So, I mean, it isn't something that was anybody's fault. It's just a problem that occurred because of erosion. Now, I sympathize with the traffic and everything else that all of you are experiencing, but if we don't do it right this time, then we're just going to turn around and do it over again, and you're
Right.
going to have the same issue.
I agree.
So
Give us the
let
time
us
we need.
come up with a plan, and as soon as they come up with a plan, our engineers come up with a plan, not council, because we wouldn't know how to do it anyway.
When are the soil samples expected back?
I'm sorry?
When are the soil samples expected
Well, it's
back?
not just
I'm
the
sorry,
soils.
I don't know that.
Well, it's not just the soil samples. We actually have the engineering firm, our outside consultant, working up a plan for us.
When is that going to be anticipated to be finished? Any idea?
No, I don't know.
Didn't he answer that earlier in the meeting?
Hopefully within the next week or 2 weeks, but we are waiting to hear from them.
So how will the residents be advised?
We
How
can-
about if we have any updates, we'll give them a Tuesday. If not, then
Yeah,
we'll let you
we
know
have
we
a
don't have
council
any
meeting in a
updates.
week from now, and we can always put things on the website.
I was just going to say that.
Okay.
So I think to better explain it, when they say soil samples, it's a core bore, correct?
Yes.
So what they do is drill down.
Right, I saw
and
them when they were
take up,
doing
say
that.
there's clay, say there's, shell, whatever. You get those samples, and that'll give our engineering department a better idea of how to approach it. Whether you have to come in and remove all that clay so we don't have that slide again, backfill it with stone. That's I think is what they're waiting for. I don't mean to put any words in anybody's mouth, but I'm familiar with those kind of projects, and I do know that it does take a little time to get all that figured out, where the moisture is coming from,
And if it's done,
And the last time, the state was involved, and that
right,
may
I
have
understand.
why
I
it took
understand
30
that.
months.
Yes, I understand that.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
That big
the
wall
other
was
pe-
put in and everything.
Yes, I know that. I've been filled in
I
on
was
that part.
informed or misinformed that I thought I heard the wall had a bulge. I went by there today and I was looking at it. And
I
after
haven't
was
seen
driving,
that.
There's no bulge, so that's a good sign. So obviously somehow there's flow underneath of that road washing the material out. So whether it
so
comes
Ramsey.
up to a French drain
There's drain
issue
issues
and
too, I'm sure.
So let's say everything comes back. Let's say engineering does what they have to do. Is there money in the budget to fix the road this year? Let's say everything comes back.
I think
Well, we
we've
don't-
already
How would
stated
we
that
know?
there is.
How would we know 100%
Yeah,
unless
we're
we know
committed to that.
what we're going to
committed
have to
to
do?
We want
until
we want the
get
road
money,
open
but
for all the
yes.
reasons that you're presenting, for all the
Yes.
reasons that the other residents are presenting, certainly. But we have to do it right. But we can't commit to when it's going to be done, how much it'll cost. We just don't know until we hear. There could be we could get a devastating report back from the engineering department. Hopefully we don't.
I hope you don't either.
But it's the truth.
Well, we all
and
hope.
we don't know. But it's certainly a commitment. We definitely want to get the road open, and we're going to do what we can to do that. But at this point, we closed the roads down because it was an unsafe situation.
Yeah,
That's-
it was-
that
it
is-
was clearly getting worse. You
That
could see
is a
it.
priority that we had to close the road down. We have already had the engineering department out already. I think that's pretty quick response. At this point, we're waiting for them to come up with a plan. As Mr. Duncan mentioned, it's not as simple as just repaving the road. There could be extensive,
Oh, I know.
extensive construction work that it may have to be done there with very expensive options. Mrs. Gatos mentioned about Old Ramsey. We had to repair some a few years ago, and we had multiple options given to us, very expensive. And these things take a lot of time. But
Like
we are
I
certainly
say,
committed
part of
to
it's
it.
still shut down. Still to this day, it's shut
Or it
down.
could
Because
just
it
be a
fell.
minor matter of drainage.
So-
We divert that water away from that
Right.
weak spot, and bada bing.
Well, I
fill it in
agree.
and go.
Something obviously needs to be dug up. I mean, it's
So
obvious
it-
obvious
But
something
it's not
has
like
to
we're
happen
not
there.
working on it. I
It
mean,
could
we're
be.
actively pursuing it.
Rather quick, or
Could be very lengthy.
Or-
So why don't we just take it step by step, because we want it done right as much as you guys want it done right.
Yeah, because you have a lot of unhappy people up there. You have,
Well-
I mean, you have a lot, and if it doesn't get fixed, I mean, I think you're going to have a lot of people looking for some sort of property tax relief. This is
Well, I-
affecting our values on our properties.
Well, there's a lot
Well,
of
I can't
situations
say-
that happen.
I think we all agree that it's our number one priority here.
Well, it's a priority.
In order
yes.
to get it
I
completed
don't know about property
and fixed
values.
properly.
Let's hope so.
Thank you.
I have one more thing to say, please.
Wait till you get
Wait
up
till you
there
get to the
to talk.
microphone, please.
No, just wait till
No,
you
just
come
wait
up all
till
the
you
way
get there
before you
speak
talk.
so we can all hear.
There you go.
Hey, thank you. Hey, you know what? I think a lot of us would feel a lot better if Mr. Yugas, since he's the engineer that I think is assigned to this, and you're the one he turns to, you're all the ones saying what's going on, what's going on. If you would give us, I'm sure you have emails that you could send us all a weekly update or something so that we know what's going on. I like the way Mr. Duncan just explained to us what a core sample is. I never know didn't even know what it's involved. If you could give us a weekly update, the residents, if we give you our email.
Well, that's something we could actually talk to. Mr. Johns isn't here right now. He's the councilman for that ward.
Yeah,
I think it's
but I've
probably
talked
best
to
to
him.
run through Mr. Johns. So whenever he gets back, we can speak to
Yeah,
him.
and I think you'd have happier people if we knew what was going on, you know. So thank you for that. That's it.
You know what? I just want to make one comment, since I've been in the borough since 1960. When we moved in and built our house in 1960, the road was bad. And it was closed for 3 months, 36 months. We had to use that back road. And you guys did a wonderful job. You got the wall built and put the new road in. And we thank you. We had a celebration the day they opened up the road. So that's what the concern is. And I know it's a high priority, but here again, I've been around a long time. We have a wonderful police force. a wonderful fire department, which they came to my house about 2 weeks ago, and wonderful officials. And I just want to pass that on, that put it as a high priority, and would certainly appreciate it. And I won't tie up any more of your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
service. I'm a
Thank you.
vet too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we certainly know, we understand the concerns, we understand the frustration, absolutely. We're acting on it the best we can and the quickest we can. We certainly want to do it right. I'm going to leave the floor open, but I think we could move on to maybe a different subject matter. We certainly understand the concern. But if there's anyone else that would like to speak about another municipal matter, I'll leave the floor open before we get into our regular meeting.